Hello and welcome to Trevelations. I am Trevor Augustus, a local real estate investor here in Jacksonville, Florida, and I want to make a quick video about the power of the self-directed solo 401k plan. I made a quick post about this on Facebook that I had just set it up, had a bunch of questions on there, and shout out to Logan. He asked me to make a video, so here we are, first video of the channel. Let's go. Got my little notes here on the self-directed plan. The first thing I want to say is that we're talking about retirement plans. Piece of advice someone gave me just in life. He said it's never too late, but it's later than you think. So this is a journey, and the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. And so no matter where you're at, we can get started. This specific type of retirement plan won't apply to everybody, but the principles do. So the self-directed solo 401k plan and solo 401ks in general are specifically for entrepreneurs. They're for business owners. If you own your own business and you don't have full-time employees besides yourself or possibly your spouse, but this is a specific type of plan for business owners who don't have full-time employees. So we flip houses, hire a bunch of contractors, subcontract everything out. So this was a perfect plan for me. There are other plans like the SEP IRA. Of course, you've got traditional IRA, Roth IRA, but I wanted to talk about the solo 401k because I think it's a superior plan in one specific way. The income or the contribution limit for 2023 is now like $66,000. It was $61,000 last year. I think it went up to $66,000. So we're talking $60,000 of contributions. You cannot do that in your traditional IRA. It's a $6,000 limit. You cannot do that in your Roth IRA. $6,000 limit. In fact, you can't even contribute to a Roth IRA if you're above a certain amount of income. So what are you supposed to do? If you don't work for a big company and have a 401k plan where your corporation's giving you a match, how are you supposed to set aside a separate bucket to help you build for retirement and engage in some of these tax strategies, tax deferrals, tax-free growth, that kind of stuff? That's what this video is about. So this is specifically for the business owner without full-time employees, but a lot of the principles do apply. So love talking about this stuff. If you have any specific questions, happy to answer it. And then the second part of what I was saying with the solo 401k is specifically want to talk about the power of the self-directed option. So when I first got into the solo 401k plan of 2021, about a year or two back, I didn't even think that it could be self-directed. I just didn't even know that. And I put it into a traditional solo 401k account with Vanguard. It's like a low cost index fund, which is what a lot of people teach. Low cost index funds. Just invest. Let that money, keep buying every month, every year, whatever it is. Even when the market's going down, you just keep buying, don't look at it, and eventually it'll grow. The market averages about 10% a year over time. The problem with that is I invested when the market was up. And so the first year I'm in, my money went down 25%. I didn't like that. Some people don't look at their account, but I did not like that at all. So I didn't like watching my money go down. I wanted to figure out how I could take some more control of this. And so I started looking into the self-directed options. Okay. I researched the different companies. I had my IRAs with Equity Trust. I started looking at them. NuView is another one. Quest Financial is another good one. They have great YouTube videos, a lot of education. And then the fourth company I found was called My Solo 401k. That's actually the company that I ended up going with, was mysolo401k.net. I felt like they had the best combination of education, customer service, expertise, and knowledge. They only do solo 401k plans, so they're very knowledgeable about this subject. And then the combination of the fees. The fees were super reasonable compared to some of the others. And so that's where I went. I called around, spoke with all of them. Some of them gave me some bad information. You got to be really careful. One company told me I could not transfer my Vanguard account into a new solo or a self-directed account. That ended up being wrong information. So be careful who you listen to. I am not a financial advisor. However, I did spend at least a couple months really researching this stuff on videos, blogs, and websites, and the IRS website, and made sure that I did it correctly for me. You'll have to do the same. Make sure you do things correctly for you. But basically, the self-directed solo 401k account lets you contribute up to $66,000 now per year into your retirement account and then self-direct that investment. So if you're like me and you're a real estate investor, you're comfortable in the real estate game. I'm more comfortable with real estate than I am in the stock market, where I have zero control, where I can't see my investment. It's not secured by anything. There's no mortgage on the property. I can't, foreclose and get my money back if they don't pay me like you can in real estate. So we can do private lending in real estate. You can buy rental properties inside this IRA account or solo 401k account. There's some specific rules. You have to use a property management company. You can't be directly involved in the investment. But as long as you follow the rules, you can flip houses in this. You can wholesale houses in this. You can do private lending like I talked about and get yourself a guaranteed fixed rate of return that's secured by a property. So if they don't pay you, you can take the property back. If you understand values, then you're less likely to lose on something like this than you are in the stock market. And so I actually learned from watching JWB's podcast. Shout out to Greg Cohen and Pablo. Great Not Your Average Investor podcast. The average bear market, when the stock market starts to go down, lasts for 36 months. Okay? So if you're unfortunate like I was to put your money in at the beginning of that decline, you lose money for 3 years. It's going to take a long time to build that back up, probably like 10 years or more. So I didn't really want to go that route. And I decided to cut my losses, convert it into cash, do a transfer from the solo 401k account I had. It's called an abatement. It's a like for like account. So it's not a rollover. It's not a distribution. You don't have to pay taxes on it. I got it out of the other solo 401k account into the self-directed option with my solo 401k. They actually helped a ton with that. The cool thing about it is you set up bank accounts to host these retirement accounts for you, and you get checkbook control over these accounts. So there's 3 sub accounts inside there. There's the pre-tax account, there's the after-tax account, and there's a Roth account. I'll talk a little bit more about those in a minute, but you set up 3 sub accounts and you actually get a checkbook for each one of these accounts. So if you want to make a quick real estate decision and invest in something, you just do it. You don't have to wait for weeks and fill out a bunch of paperwork. You can self-direct your own investment options. I'm not into crypto, but you guys that like crypto, you can do crypto in this. Self-directed is okay with alternative options. But the coolest thing about the solo 401k is the high contribution limits. Okay, you're talking $66,000 for 2023. So how do we get that money in there? I want to do a quick example and we can talk about the 3 different buckets. This is just an example. So your situation may be a little bit different, but let's say we wanted to get the full $66,000 in the account. I'm actually going to start with last year's number. So let's say last year it was 61,000 was the limit. So I know for a fact, because we just did this, when the limit was 61,000, there's 3 different ways that you can contribute here. Number 1 is as an employee. You're an employee of your own company. That means you pay yourself with a W-2, or maybe you just get self-employed income. I think it's Schedule C or whatever. You can put up to $20,500. I think it went up to $22,000. I'm just not sure. You can put $20,500 as an employee as long as you had at least that much on your income. So in this example, let's assume you had a great year, you paid yourself $100,000 as a W-2 employee. You can put up to $20,500 of that money tax deferred into your solo 401k account. You put it in the pre-tax account. That means this money is not getting taxed now. It'll be taxed later when you're, over 60 and you want to take it out in retirement, but it's not taxed now. Okay. If you chose this way. Now, your company can do a profit share. You put on your business owner hat. You're the owner of the company. You've got your company checking account, your company savings account. You can take, if you made $100,000 as a W-2, up to 25% of that income can be contributed from the company into your solo 401k plan. So we put $20,500 as an employee. In this example, we're putting another $25,000 in as an employer. We're up to over $45,000 we just put into our retirement account at one time, and it's tax deferred. That means we're not paying income taxes on this money. If you had a really good year, you want to bring your income down, pay less taxes, this is one of the ways you can do it now. And then maybe you'll be at a lower tax bracket when you're elderly and you take it out or whatever. So that's a little nuanced conversation. I'm happy to have that conversation, but it could slow me down in this video, and I want to get this done in like 10 or 15 minutes if I can. So got the three buckets. We just filled up the pre-tax bucket with $45,500. In our example of last year's numbers, we could do up to $61,000. So you take the $61,000 overall contribution limit, you subtract the $45,500 that we put into it. That's $15,500 left that we're allowed to contribute. How can we do that? That's a great way for me to talk about the other sub-accounts. I said there were three sub-accounts: pre-tax, after-tax, Roth. Okay. This is super cool. If you have extra money, this is not your emergency fund. You don't need this money now. This is for retirement. You don't plan to see this money for a long time. You don't need it. Whatever. You just want to do something smart and build for later, for your golden years, whatever you want to do, all that stuff. You want to catch up. You want to build up this account and get the full $61,000 in there. You've got $15,500 left that you can contribute in this example. What you want to do for this example, we're going to put the $15,500 into our after-tax bucket. This is money we just took from our savings account, from the coffee can buried in the backyard. Wherever you got this money from, you've already paid taxes on it. So you put it in the after-tax account. This is documenting to the IRS that you've already paid taxes on this money. You don't ever want to pay taxes on it in the future, and they understand that. That's how it works. The cool thing is there's a section, a code in the IRS that lets you transfer the money from this after-tax account into your Roth Solo 401k sub-account. So we just got an extra $15,000 into our Roth. We got around the income limits. We got around the contribution limits. How do we do that? It's called a mega backdoor Roth conversion. It's a big long name, but all you did was take the money, put it in your after-tax account, told the IRS it's not taxable money. It's already been paid taxes on it. And then we're going to wait a day or two so they can see it sat in there, and then transfer it into the Roth account. Okay? Little side note, if you don't want to defer your income and you really want to focus on the growth and have it all be tax-free, and you have the money, you meet the income requirements, you made enough income, you're able to match all this stuff, you can actually put the full $61,000 or the full $66,000, whatever it is this year, into the after-tax account, and then transfer that all into the Roth account if you wanted to. So there's many different ways that you can do this here. It's just about your own personal situation, studying. I spent a month or two really studying this stuff, really figuring out how I wanted to divvy up my stuff: after tax, Roth, pre-tax, what's getting deferred this year. So don't overthink it. At the end of the day, just make sure you get some in there. Go ahead and tax defer it. Go ahead and put it in the Roth if you can afford it. Whatever works for your situation, because the coolest part is that especially since we can self-direct this stuff. If you're a real estate investor, or if you know some real estate investors, I'd be happy to kind of keep doing videos and learn this game. But if you're comfortable with real estate, or even if you're comfortable in the index funds and the stocks, mutual funds, whatever it is, if you do some quick math and you pull up, you can get a compound interest chart. Just find one online and go type in $61,000. Let's say we put this $61,000 in for our retirement one time. We did it this year only, and let's say we never did it again. And we're able to get that money invested at 10% interest, okay? If you never touch that money again and you just reinvest the growth, so you invest $61,000, you get 10% return. That means you make $6,100 per year interest on your money, and then the next year you put that $6,000 into the investment. So now you're investing, $67,300, whatever it is. And you keep reinvesting the profits. Okay? You never contribute another dime. That $61,000 is going to be worth over $1 million in 30 years. Okay? Imagine if you keep contributing. It's going to be worth multi-millions of dollars. Okay? So the more you can get into the Roth to be tax-free, great. If you want or you need some tax deferral right now, go ahead and put it in that bucket too. Do whatever you can. You can divvy this up, whatever makes sense for you. But that's the power of the self-directed solo 401k plan. I'm happy to answer any questions. If I messed up or if I missed something, just call me out. We'll fix it. We'll get better as we go. Again, this is Trevor Augustus, Jacksonville, Florida. Thanks for coming and checking out the channel and watching the video. Hope you have a great day. Take care.